Alan about the Zero to Hero music video.
Oh, it's our highest performing TikTok of all time. 10 million,
over 10 million people have watched it since Friday.
Yeah, it's really
all right.
I tell you, those women.
They're loving the music.
All right. We love it.
Well, hello there, folks, and welcome to this very special interview for What's on Stage, where we sit down with the composer and the director-choreographer of Disney's Hercules. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell for notifications for all that theatrical goodness. And now, let's get you to the highlights. Here's Tony Award winners Casey Nicholaw and Alan Menken.
Well, Aladdin was my first show with Disney, and now it's like 13 years ago we did it in Seattle, and then Toronto, and then it's been like 11 years on Broadway. They just, I think, celebrated the 4,000th performance. So even though I'm now doing another show with them, it's not like I went away and came back. I've been working on Aladdin the whole time up to this as well. But I love working with them. I really do. I was a Disney kid and a Disney fanatic when I was a kid, and I just loved everything Disney.
Oh, the journey has been so long. All right. I will take the journey all the way back to when I actually I took my daughter on a Disney cruise with some of her friends as a sort of a sweet 16. And she's now, I'm not going to say her age, but that was a long time ago. Celebration. And they did Hercules as the show on the ship. And the muses came out, and I watched, and I said, oh, this could be a Broadway show. And it took a while for that idea to marinate. And I would just gently say it to Disney Theatrical occasionally, and they go, and then, oh, and then, oh, and then, oh, okay. And it took a while. And then the first iteration was when we did a version of it in Central Park. It was directed by Lee Zarrett. It was part of a program called Public Works, because it was a co-production between Disney Theatrical and the Public Theater. And then following that, then came the plans to do a actual stage production, which would be very different than the one in Central Park. But it did actually get amazing reaction, the park version of the show. And so what followed was a small production at Paper Mill Playhouse.
We did a lab first to just like completely revamp the show. New songs, new arrangements of stuff, just lots of new things to it. And then we went to Hamburg, the difference being it was in German. and then this last year we made a lot of changes to that as well. A lot. Like we really worked our butts off to just make it a new thing, clarify things, make it more entertaining, make the story points clearer, and just have a lot more fun with it.
Yes. And when you have Casey Nicholaw as a director, he has very strong opinions, but he's incredibly collaborative, so it's all good. But there were obviously places where we wanted to expand the score. We wanted to have, like a song for Hades. And first we had a song called Cool Day in Hell. Now we have a new song called Getting Even. But, part of the process is just finding the spots that weren't covered in the film. And naturally, when you adapt something that's been on film to the stage, there's going to be many more songs. Because for stage, the songs kind of are the close-up. So a song for Hades, another song for Phil, a song between Herc and Meg. All those are sort of natural growths from what we originally had. And it's a very collaborative process between David Zippel and myself and the book writers and the director and Tom Schumacher at Disney Theatrical and Ann Court and all the people involved with the production. It's incredibly collaborative, and we're still playing with it. Right now we're pretty set, but we've still been doing rewrites leading up to the West End. And sure, when it's in previews, we'll probably have more rewrites.
Well, I mean, anytime you take an animated film and you try to put it on stage, it has to be different. You know, there are just too many things you can't do. So it's very different, and the muses have more to do. You know, there are now narrators all through the show because people respond so well to those 5 women. And, you know, it's always, to me, always a little bit of a disappointment at the beginning of the movie when I'm like, oh my God, it's so exciting. These women are singing, and then they just peter out after like 3/8. I thought, oh my gosh, that's it? And then all of a sudden the credits are rolling. So that's a fully realized opening number, and the muses do a lot more in the stage show. You know, I'm the kind of person who's working so hard to surprise people, so I don't want to give away surprises. But, you know, we're just fully realizing the characters when suddenly you're doing something in 2 hours. I think it's going to be about 2 hours, which is great. You know, instead of 90 minutes. It has to be fleshed out a little bit more, but you don't want it to suddenly feel bloated or suddenly have it feel too serious or get, you know, into when I was 5 years old, my father said, like, you don't want any of that. You still want to have fun. And that's what we're doing. But the numbers are just bigger. They're longer and more full, and you have to keep the story going in that. So there's actually a lot that is different. And it's one of those things, we've changed it so many times now that I barely know the differences anymore.
Well, first of all, yes, up for Central Park, we leaned into diversity, and that was a huge part of what it's become. It really, we have a lot of diversity in the cast, and it really plays well with the story. So that's a big difference. Some of the character of Phil is somewhat different. You know, in the film he was a satyr and was, you know, I had that scene with him running after all the nymphs and I mean, you know, it is Disney, and there was a thought of maybe we shouldn't have him lusting after the nymphs. That was okay for the mid-90s. I mean, those are little things, but he's still the same lovable character, and but a lot of little changes like that. But the basic thrust is the story that was in the movie.
Well, I hope the audience just has a great time and that they're moved by it. It's my favorite thing in the world is to have people laugh and entertain and then be moved by the end. I mean, that's, I think, why we all come to that. I don't think we always expect it, but when you do, it's a nice added bonus. And I think that's what it is. I think the characters are engaging, and I think you are rooting for Hercules. And that's kind of it. Have a good time. Bring the family. Bring yourselves. Don't bring the family. Whatever you want. There's something for everybody in it.
The West End premiere of Disney's Hercules is running here at Theatre Royal Drury Lane from the 6th of June 2025. As always, you can leave your thoughts about the show in the comments section down below. But please, for the love of the almighty Zeus's lightning bolts, keep it kind. And I'll see you next time for What's on Stage.
Oh, hi. Shh, please, I'm very busy. And very important right now.